It's gonna be awesome, sploosh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a fucking grown. I have no interest in that. I can watch fucking porn. I can have sex. You guys.
I don't need to fantasize about the kid from Series of Unfortunate Events.
All right, not again. And so
not now that she's legal, okay?
And I forgot. Maybe it was on something that had to do with Man of Steel. Anyways, this Sucker Punch gets brought up in discussion on a comment board, a comment section of a website, and
derails the conversation into Sucker Punch arguments.
And someone's like, I think it was when it came out. I think people, didn't see what it was, see what for what it was, and linked to his review. And I read it, and I'm like, well, maybe that is right. And the whole thing is that it's almost like a subversive take. It's almost like what, like it takes these images and these ideas of the girl in the schoolgirl outfit,
right.
with the ponytail, with the pigtails and the big gun, that fetish, that like anime manga fetish type thing, and it kind of turns it on its head and like makes the viewer look at themselves and be like, why do you like this? And I didn't get that at all.
No, I don't.
I don't think Zack Snyder is that good of a filmmaker.
I don't think that's what it's doing, but
it's interesting. The arguments about it being actually pro-feminism, they're in there, but it's definitely shot in such a way that can be easily missed if you're not looking for it. You're just taking it for face value, definitely, because it's total cheesecake. But it's the layers upon the layers upon the layers, and then existing in a constant state of confusion is kind of like the role of a woman or a girl in society, where like you want to be taken seriously, you want to be respected, but you wear makeup, you wear dresses, you wear really inappropriate shoes, as far as, no practical.
Yeah, like they're crazy uncomfortable.
But you do that to get attention, first off, to get people to listen. Because, let's be honest, you ever really taken a woman in sweatpants and ponytail and no makeup seriously?
Sure.
Other than, she's going to fuck you up?
No, I kind of dig that look.
Yeah?
Flannel pajamas and...
There's something comfortable about it.
There's something comfortable about it, but your boss at work,
well, you should not be showing up to work in sweatpants regardless.
Unless it's PJ Day. Yeah, unless you're having a theme week and it's PJ Day.
Yeah.
But
in which case, by all means.
Yeah, I think that what the film is. I'm sorry, you were still going.
Oh, you can add.
Okay. It. Well, I think what the film is actually doing, I don't think it's actually a satire, and I don't think it's subversive. I think it's commenting very obviously and directly, at least this is how I read it, on, as Becca said, basically this situation where it's not tied to a specific time in history. It's sort of this vaguely 60s-ish looking, like in Mad Men times.
Yeah. In the days of Mad Men.
Right. And it's basically a commentary on the positions that men force women into, and it comments very directly. It starts with Carla Gugino saying, your fight for survival starts here, and it's like, these are the only weapons available to you, like your tits and ass, essentially.
Yeah, you've already given all your weapons, now fight.
Right, and that's sort of the idea, every time they go into one of the fantasy sequences, one of the video game level sequences, it's when she's dancing, and you never actually see her dance. So but her dance is supposed to be so powerful that it drives men
they don't notice anything going on around them. Right. They don't go crazy, but they're completely transfixed on it.
Right.
Mentioned or kind of supported that a woman's power lies in her sexuality. So again, the costumes, the illusions, the dancing, which is a form of battle to get what you want, and also to hide your motives.
But at the same time, during these the I guess the third level,
Right, the video games.
the video game levels, which they are totally video game
They-
levels.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because there's the old, like, I mean, there's like a Yoda or like a Mr. Miyagi character
There's a mentor figure. Yeah.
who tells them, like, this is what you got to do. And
Also
then,
not super helpful. Just kind of like, here's
But he
your
lays out the
basic-
objective.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, you got to do this, and remember. And then he gives them like a little bit of
Yeah.
advice, like, you work together, or like, you
Right.
know. During those levels, like, they're still like dressed like in fetish gear.
And that's the one thing. Like, I don't know.
And like, if they're supposed to be, if
this is her power fantasy.
yeah, if this is where
Yeah.
they're like supposed to like be the most powerful, like, why that? Like,
Well, because again, whenever you imagine yourself, you want to imagine yourself as like the most beautiful, powerful, persuasive version of yourself. And if that fetish gear is what is considered a woman's power or sexuality, then she's got her battle gear on and she's doing battle. So, like, you imagine in, like, a good-looking version of yourself in your head as you're slaying.
look in the
all
mirror.
this
I
shit.
designed a me.
Yeah.
Pretty sexy guy.
Into Darkness, brought to you by Mountain Dew Kickstarter.
No, I agree though that the costumes are in the fantasy sequences are a bit of a stretch, and that's the only part of it, politically speaking, where I thought the film was sort of confused. Because
Well, I think it gives you those visuals so you can also see like how ridiculous it is that we think that there's any sort of practical use for that type of clothing.
other than seduction,
There
or
is none.
fetishization of a human
Yeah.
body. Yeah, you're right. There were things about the movie that I really disliked, like whenever it was trying to be Moulin Rouge, anytime it got into
Yeah,
a
the
musical
number was
the
terrible.
musical number, like
Yeah.
those on stage that just seemed to go on forever.
What was that all about?
I
don't know.
There's a scene with the level 2 versions of the orderly and the doctor. The orderly is the pimp, and the doctor, I guess, like the madam.
Yeah, she's sort of the madam. She teaches the girls to dance
Yeah.
and to she's running their finishing school, so
Yeah,
they can be
it's
better.
pretty much. And so, and they have like a song and dance together, which
Mhm.
goes on forever.
Mhm.
It
Like
does.
it goes on for the entire song, and I'm like, I don't care to see this.
It doesn't further the plot. It doesn't
No,
set up anything. It stops the movie.
super rapey the movie was.
Yeah.
It is very rapey. And I think that's another thing that the movie is trying to comment on is like this sort of rape culture, that we've created and that we live in. And I'm not saying that, like, I've read interviews with Zack Snyder, and when we get into Man of Steel, I have a theory about him possibly being Asperger's. Because he's not that great at approximating human emotion in his films. Like, there's nothing approaching human emotion in any of his movies. And there's no emotional connection. There's one moment in this film that I actually felt any sort of emotion. And it's a 2-hour film, and neither of those
Yeah, we
moments-
watched the extended director's cut.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to be like
His vision.
His vision, like, this is it, like unadulterated, unfiltered.
How much longer is it than the theatrical? Do you know?
Like maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, so there's a lot more.
think so.
I wonder if the musical number was something that added
Oh
back
shit,
in.
maybe. Well, if it was, then dude, you should have cut that.
Cut that cut. And also, I hated Carla Gugino's accent, that weird fake German thing. It just sounded like I'm putting on an accent. Like, it didn't, like, it was so over the top. And you could argue, again, that's part of the style, but it just grated on my nerves anytime she talked. And usually I like her, so that was a bummer.
What else has she been in?
She was in Sin City. She was in, I think, at least the first Spy Kids movie.
Spy Kids.
Yes.
She wasn't in Spy Kids 3D?
I think she might have been. She was
Oh.
the mom, I think.
Well then.
And Antonio Banderas
should have
was the
been.
dad. Yeah. She wouldn't have been in 4, I don't think, right? Because
What was 4?
wasn't 4 where the girl's grown up and she's got a kid of her own or something?
Oh, I don't know. Shark Boy versus...
Did
No,
you
that
see
wasn't a
the
Spy
Did
Kid.
you see the first set photo from Girl Meets World? Went online?
No, I haven't seen that yet. I
Spoiler alert.
at work, like, a lot of like the image sharing, like, or image hosting sites are blocked,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'll go and be like, hey, check out this photo, and it'll be like, the text, and it would be like
An X.
like a big blank, and then whatever's underneath it. Same way for Discus, which is the comment software that
a lot of sites use.
And so
you can't comment.
I can't even read the comments. It's bullshit.
You should talk to your work.
Yeah, be like, hey, can you take this off your blocker or whatever it is?
So now one thing, Drew McWeeny in his review of Sucker Punch, to get back to the subject at hand,
Drewfus McWeenyston.
He mentioned that the fantasies don't even seem like Zack Snyder's fantasies, not anything that Baby Doll, the character, would have actually been fantasizing about, like these dragon World War II steampunk scenarios. Well, first of all, that stuff wasn't really. Those genres didn't exist in the time period that the movie's tied to. I mean, Dragon Times did.
And they do for girls now.
Yeah, but it is a weird. I don't know. I mean, So, how do you feel about the end of the movie? Didn't care. You just get this over with.
By that point, I had checked out.
Did you watch it in one sitting? Or?
Yep.
We spread it across 2 nights, and I wonder if that helped, because all 4 of the video game sequences
also
are pretty
on Ambien, that probably helped.
We were on sleeping pills, yes. But we were staying up late to get that awesome high you get from prescription drugs. Kids, Into Dorkness, brought to you by prescription drugs. Beg your doctor today. But all 4 of the fantasy sequences are pretty identical.
They're
except for the one on the train, which was one of the moments that I actually felt something, and I think that has more to do with Jenna Maroney. Is that her name?
Malone.
Mm-hmm. Who's Jenna Maroney?
30 Rock.
30 Rock. Yeah. But yeah, I think that has more to do with her being a good actress than anything else. Where she,
I do love me some Jenna.
Where she jumps on the knife so that her sister doesn't get, Abby Cornish doesn't get stabbed. Yeah. And in the sequence, it actually works where she, basically gives her life so that they can set off the bomb before it hits the city, but everybody else gets away. And also, the sword fight on the train was pretty spectacular. That was one of the best action sequences I've ever seen.
I think Jenna Malone is probably my favorite part of the movie.
She's such a good actress.
She's really good.
And I think that might have been part of why I connected, because I really liked her character and the relationship with her sister, and I thought that provided a really neat, objective correlative for Emily Browning and her sister. The idea of how much of that actually happened too. Because you've got level 2 and 3, so her being able to save a sister.
Yeah.
I mean, and the movie's pretty obviously pointing that way, right? Because she helps Abby Cornish get away and gives herself up instead.
And Jenna Malone was in The Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys, right?
Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko. Saved?
Yeah, she was the main character in Saved, so she hasn't. And then she's been doing other stuff.
Wasn't she?
The Stepmother?
Stepmother?
The stepmom. I don't know, the Julia Roberts movie.
Was she the little kid?
Yeah, she might have been.
She was one of her first big things.
She's in the 2006-7 Pride and Prejudice, the one with Keira Knightley. She's one of her sisters, so she's in that, but it's a small part. She should be getting more work.
She should be. She should be. I remember watching Donnie Darko. We were about 18.
We were 18, yes.
We were about 18.
No, 19, because I bought it on my 19th birthday. I was like, you gotta watch this, bro.
I was 18.
Carefree days.
Salad days.
Before 19 closed in.
And
what is salad days? Is that when you're making your money, or is that...
No, just your best... Yeah,
when you're licking the most asshole you
like. That period of time. And it's always between 17 and 20, for some reason.
At 20, you're just like, your palate's like,
you're
can't
like,
do it anymore.
I don't have the tongue for it. No, it's just an expression for your the best days of your life.
Okay.
Kind of.
So we're watching Donnie Darko.
And I'm like, that girl's really cute. And she's like our age too. Dope. And then I see her in Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys, where she plays like a 15-year-old and looks 15. And I feel like
even more turned on.
Yeah, I was like, boom. No, I was like, I felt really oogie after that.
Yeah.
Especially, once you find out what you find out in the course of that movie.
Yeah.
That was rough.
It was fucked up.
And then one of the Culkins dies. That was weird.
That was a dark movie.
Which one was it? Kieran?
I think it's Kieran, isn't it?
Kieran?
Igby?
Rory would have still been too young, because it's around the time Igby came out, so I think it was Kieran.
The one from Scott Pilgrim? Is that him?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. He was also in Igby Goes Down. And,
Rory was the one from Signs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those Culkins, they're all sort of a piece.
Yeah. It's like they're like related or something.
Yeah, something. Even more